Yeah, I think it's going now.
Hey, we're here today, and my new model here is Caitlin. And Caitlin is, you can see she's got some crazy hair here. It's been cut very short, and she likes it short, and she's got lots of curl in here. You can see this nice texture. She's got some really tight pieces, and this was probably old relaxer on the end. She's got some straight edges in here. But what I really want to do to Caitlin, I'm going to turn around here so you can see her. She's got this super curly, just unruly, wild hair. What I want to do is give her a really edgy, modern short cut. What I want to do is take this in really close with my sharp tooth razor through this side and this neckline. I'm going to leave a lot of this length on the top because we want a real asymmetric feel. We're going to give her this haircut where she has lots of shaggy, piecey, just ragged layers in there, and just super short, and make it like really edgy, and she'll be able to wear this. This is going to look great on you. What I do want to do, too, that will play up the hair cut is make her blonder. This is her natural color. You can see this is just from the sun where it's just lightened or faded or old highlights. But I want to make her super blonde, especially around her face and on this top layer. This underneath, I might do a little darker. And once I cut this will come out a little darker just with it cutting closer. But we want it real dramatic to go with the haircut, too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here, and when I come back, you'll see me putting the color in. We're back here. I've got Caitlin. I've got her color ready. What I'm going to do is put her foils in first, and what I want to do is weave in lots of blonde, and I'm going to do that with 20 volume and our blue lightener. It's just a blue bleach that's wonderful. You see this nice light hair. Her hair is not that dark, and the only color that's on here now is just these little blonde ends. I'm going right here in front of the ear, and I'm going to slice these sections because I want this blonde, very pale blonde, and I want it very heavy. I want lots of heavy streaks in here. So I'm going to take this section right here and start in front of the ear. I'm working the underneath on the longest part of her hair and then work my way to the top. See, getting nice and close here at the roots, brushing the color on. I'm using these color brushes that are really new. I haven't used these before. They're great. I do like to use a knife to apply the color, but these are great because they have nice, firm, this little rubbery edge that really you have a little more control over the color, and you use less color, so you don't waste the color either. And you can get it right where you want it at, just on the new roots there. So you can see how much curl Caitlin has in her hair. Lots of just this very tight curl, great curl. And I'm gonna cut this where if she did wear it curly and wild, it would look good. Or if she did smooth it out, I will definitely smooth it out and flat iron it to see the shape. But even as her hair grows in, it'll do well, leaving this top really long and the underneath super short. Taking another slice here, I'm slicing these. I'm not weaving thin sections. I'm getting lots of blonde in here. This you can see actually needs it from the roots to the ends.
Yeah, can you do my hair later that long?
And I'm picking up the longest part of the hair. You can see she's got, it's very short through the neck and around the ears. And this hair, I know I'm cutting really close and short. And I will maybe do that a shade darker, but on the top we want it blonder. So I'll be using a different shade on the underneath and then a different shade in between the foils on the top. See, another slice. This is my third one. Working my way up. When I get this one in, I'll go to the other side and put a few in front of that ear and then save that section in the top for last.
This is ginger ale made up of raw cereal called lemon. Those kind of lemon, a very hot ginger ale.
Maybe one more. Let's do one more right here. We've got all different lengths in here. This is going to be great, Caitlin, because it'll look like I'm giving you a shape instead of just something that doesn't have any rhyme or reason. So this will definitely make a statement here. Your hair will be much easier to deal with. We have such great flat irons now. You could relax this hair with one of these keratin treatments. And you know how that is, Caitlin. It's very hard on the hair, especially when you're coloring it and doing that chemical treatment on it to smooth it out. Very hard on it. So you almost have to choose. Do I want to be blonder or straighter? Be blonde. Because the curl is definitely coming back to the hair. And then you have the option, you can smooth it so much easier with a flat iron. And then you can have your curl, encourage your curl when you want it really wild. I'm going right here behind these because I found a long piece right here in the crown that I want blonder. So this is another slice right here. And after I get this one in, I will go to the other side and put the highlights in on right above the ear on the other side. I'm trying to lift up all of this and get this nice and light just on the longest part of her hair. Now, I've got this side, and you can see this is her shorter side, so we still want to have blonde in here, and if I can pick it up, I'm going to put it in a foil, because all of this will stay. We'll keep all of this length here. You see so much short hair right now. All these celebrities really set the trends. The short hair is very in. Especially this little asymmetric cut. It still has the feel of having some length because you've got the top long. So it's like easy to grow into from a pixie haircut or even a shorter bob. You can go to a bob easy with this shape. So still versatile.
I used to have a bob.
I bet your hair was great in a bob with this curl.
I miss it.
Yeah, all these great curls.
Thing was, it was a straightish bob.
Oh, you wore it smooth, you didn't wear it curly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got great curls. I'm putting one right here on the crown just because I found a longer piece right here, and that's where I will stop the blonde pieces, the foils. So I've got one right here this is right at the round of her head here, then one in the crown. So this is the last section, is this top layer, and this is where I'll put my last row is right here. And I'm going to start to this side and work my way over. Working on the diagonal, I'm I'm highlighting with the way that I'm going to cut it and the way her hair is going to fall. Turn your head just a tad bit towards me, Caitlin. Yeah, perfect. Now tilt your head down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Now I can see that new growth. Now I'm taking another section, making that wide, just a slice, no little weed pieces. We want this bold because of her thickness and this curl. If they're too skinny and thin, they won't even show up. So that's why I want this really more solid sections here. Now working my way back on a diagonal, still working in this last section here. Last here, picking up my foil with my brush makes my job easier. I move much quicker. Tilt your head down just a little bit, Caitlin. Perfect. Now, working my way back, I'm going to put one right here. And now I have this nice little skinny section here I'll work on. Lots of slices. All of these are sliced because I want them really thick. Coming to the end. Once I get these foils in, then I will put a little color on this neckline and between the foils. And I think I'm going to do a shade lighter on the top in between and a shade darker on the bottom. So I'm going to do a little deeper brown on this neckline, just a shade darker, just so it's a little more dramatic. And then in between the foils I'll do a medium to light blonde. So this will be a blonde on blonde on the top. Another slice right here. Get out of the way. There we go. You see she has some little blonde ends there that were probably just from the sun or some old highlights that have been growing. She's probably a level 8. She's not that dark at all, so this hair will lighten so easy. Now, I've got the bang done there. Now this one little section I have here, you can see it's her part. So I'm going to go in the crown and work my way to the front. Just because of the curl, it's a little easier to handle. Get that out of my way. You can see I'm right back here in the crown, doing the same slicing. That's a big one there because where the longer the hair, the blonder. So this is great where her length is at. And some of this will come off. When I check her cut, you'll see exactly what I'm going to do because we want this uneven. We don't want all this nice and even. We want more texture to the hair. And she has a lot of very short and long pieces, which is ideal on this curly hair. Then it's not so heavy on the ends. It has more movement. It ends up looking just so thick and just no shape to it. So it's got to have some texturizing. And I will do that with a sharp tooth razor. Now, still working away. Got a few more sections here. And this will process. And as the highlights are processing, I'll be applying the base color in between and that neckline. Coming to the end here, Caitlin. These highlights move fast. And once I put the base color on, that moves fast too. We'll process that. Then I will shampoo her color off, and you'll get to see her haircut. Now, coming to the end.
How much is the big one? And the little one, 14?
Nice wide slices, lots of foil, lots of hair in the foil, because this is some thick curly hair. I think I can get one more in here. Yes, let's pull that out of the way. And one more slice, because this is the part here. We want the blondish on the top. All right. One more foil. That's out the way there. Now, we've got the blonde where we know we want the blondest pieces. And we're gonna, as this, I'm gonna fold this up. I'm going to go mix some more color, and I'll be right back with her other two colors. We're back here, and I've got her foils all in the place that I know we're going to be blonder. Next I'm going to do is put 8C, it's medium cool blonde. I'm going to do that on the top in between each foil. And the part that I'm going to leave out will be this area, this 1 inch above her ear, on her neckline. I'm going to put 6 in with a little 5 in, and that's a light to medium brown. I'm going to make it a little deeper, a little darker on the bottom, so this top looks a little bolder, a little blonder. So I'm going to start lighting them between the foils. Now, we know these highlights are working away, so I'm going to brush this in, and this will make, she's like a level, she's a medium blonde. She's very light, especially a little lighter around the face. So what I'm putting on here is going to lift her a shade or two, maybe 2 shades, and that's all I want, just a little contrast between this and the highlights. It'll be a kind of a blonde on blonde effect, and I'm using a cool tone, so it will have a cooler blonde to look to the blonde in between. So I don't want it to look brassy or too orangey over a period of time. So, and she's got a lot of gold in her hair naturally. You can see that just in the natural color. So this'll tone that a little bit and still have a kind of a blonde on blonde effect here. I'm just going right in between and brushing this color on in between her foils. This works so quickly, very easy. Everything you can see right where to apply it at. This is a cream hair color. It's our organic. It's our all nutrient that we love. It just works really well, especially for this little coarser, drier texture. It's ideal. It's a very moisturizing color. That leaves the hair actually in better shape afterwards than before. So the hair loves it. Working right around this here because we want to have a little head start on the area that's going to be the blondest. So I'm getting this out of the way, putting it on here and working my way down. That way you can have a little better, you can see the roots better, and you get those foils out of the way after you've done applied that color. Just work your way down, working quickly. Once you get it on all the new growth, you can go back and just look in between and make sure that you covered everything well. But once you start doing this way, it goes very fast, and it cuts time. You're able to color and highlight at the same time, working right where you put those highlights where you know you want to be blonder. Then everything else is colored. You know, I cover with another shade, whether you're going darker or lighter. So this is great for a lot of techniques, whether it's short hair or long hair. Brushing this on, still just on that new growth, because the ends are pretty. The ends are definitely lighter. Working my way right down, covering it good. This color is this thick cream, but using this brush to apply it, I think you have a little more control over it. Got the crown right there. I'm going to come back around this side and see what I need on this side. Got this all covered. Have a little more on that hairline, just so there's any little baby hairs you might miss. Yep, now see where I'm at. I'm back over here. I've got all this covered. I'm going to put one section here and lift that up, and this will be our blonde. I know that it's going to be very short here over this ear. So once I take that in really close, you'll even see the color definitely better too. Now I'm to the crown. I'm already to the crown, and once I get a few more of these sections done, I'll have the 8C on everything that I want, and then I'll put the 6N and 5N on everything else that's below that. So you see how quickly this works. Easy, easy. I'll do one, so I'm going to connect that a little bit right here where I went all the way around. With a little more blonde right below the foils. And then we'll be ready for the next color. What I'll do is after I get that, the lowest color on this bottom, then I will check that highlight. And if she needs 10 minutes on the dryer, I'll give her 10 minutes. With everything on here, it will work just fine. One more section. I've got lots of hair to cut off on the sides and the neckline here, which will make this top look so much longer. Now, I've got my 8C. You can see in the back of here is where I stopped at. Now, the rest of this hair is going to be covered in the 6N and 5N. Got that mixed, ready to go on. So this will create a little contrast. You'll have just a shade or two darker than that top, so that top will really show up nice. And especially with when I cut this, I'm going to do scissor over comb and cut this in really close on these sides, so you see how blonde it is. I want it to show up nicely. I think deepening this a little bit, once I've cut it in real close, will even be a little more dramatic. Because you know what happens when I cut this off. It would look very light here. If I took it in that close and left it natural. So I want it a little darker, just a little deeper, a little more dramatic. And I'm just combing this on, working it in. You can see how I'm just brushing this on a lot, trying to get this saturated because this is short. No need to worry about putting this on the roots because this is just all her natural color. No grow out back here. Working that in, you can see I've got this worked in nicely. Just really saturate that hair. And once I get this side on, like I said, I'll keep in those foils. If she needs a few minutes, we'll do a few under the dryer. But I have a feeling she'll need very little. This hair lightens so easy. I only used 20 volume with the blue lightener, so her hair will lighten quickly. And this color here needs to stay on 20 minutes. So I may just process her with no heat and let her sit for 20 minutes. That way these highlights will be slower to process, but we know they'll be healthier and the hair will still be super shiny. So when we come back, you'll get to see Caitlin's haircut. I'm back here with Caitlin, and we're going to start her haircut. Let me get up here a little higher here. I've got her color done. I, did that lightening. I did the lots of blonde pieces up here with a blue lightener. I did the 8C, the medium cool blonde in between the foils. And then on this underneath, you can see this is a shade or two darker. It's actually 2 shades darker. I did the medium brown on the underneath because we wanted this a little deeper. Once I cut this in really close, it'll have a shade darker with this blonder top. Will look really dramatic. So what I want to do first is we're going to determine where we're going to keep it short and where we're going to keep it long. We want to keep all of this length on the top. Okay, and you can see the side part. This is her natural fall. So we got to determine that. We know we want it to fall this side, and I highlighted it and did her color to go with that. So we got a plan. Get this over. We know this is the area that we're going to take in really close. So I measure here where the comb leaves the head. Tells me that's where her hair starts to, her head starts to round, and that's the area we want super short. So I'm taking that right out of the way. I'm going to take my comb and carve that out, get the top out of the way. We're going to work on this underneath. And this hair is what I'm going to cut in really close. Really close. It'll follow all the way around. I'll take it close on the neckline. And then when I get to the side that's longer, I'll actually section this off, get this out of the way, because we don't want to cut that short. We want to keep every bit of this. And this underneath on this side over the ear will be super short. So this is the hair that's going to come in really close. Okay, let's start on this side. Back to this side here. And I'm going to do scissor over comb. Scissor over comb cuts it nice and close and tapers this hair so it really hugs the head. And because of this haircut, it really is going to play up the shape of the haircut. And this hair is going to lay down so nice. So I go right here in front of the ear. I pick it up with the comb, lift, and take off the curls. Having it this close, you can see the curl is definitely going to be straighter. I'm cutting her little curls off. But what a dramatic change, especially after deepening that. It's going to really show up better. If I were to cut this and not have colored this, left it her natural color, it would have looked much sparser. It would have looked much lighter. And we want to see that this hair looks very closely cut without being too light. So you can see how nice that lays when you use the scissor over comb, taking the hair off, lifting it up with the comb and taking it off. I'm actually going right up to the part line and taking that off really close. We want this extreme. We want this to be very dramatic and very new. So, of course, this little head with this cute face is ideal for this. Now you see I'm working my way around. I'm on her neckline now. Still scissor over comb, taking her curls off. This hair is going to lay so pretty when this is cut in close. And this will really give her a nice edgy look. This hair will be so easy to take care of. Even with the curl in the hair, when it goes wild or she wears it curly, it'll really still look very cute. You can see I've got this cut in nice and close. This is the area that we wanted very super close, is that neckline. And you can see here it was cut so short in spots on the top layer that that's going to work well, because once I get to the top, there'll be very little hair off of that, because lots of that short and long pieces is a good thing. We don't want to even all of that up, because then this curl would really be, you couldn't control it. You know, it would be way too hard to deal with. So it's actually better when it's short and long, very ragged and uneven through the curl on the top, and our curls are lighter. You don't have heavy, blunt, thick ends. Same thing right here. I'm going to go right in here with my scissor over comb, lift and take that off. Super close. Now that bulky hair won't be in the way when the longer hair comes down over it. Taking this off is going to really change the entire haircut just with this little hair off. What I'm going to do is, after I take this neckline a little closer, I'll check the top layer. We'll see what that's doing. If anything is hanging over, this longer hair is hanging over, I'll do a little razoring on that just so it's not heavy. But what I would do next is dry it and flat iron it and check it dry once I've smoothed it out. You can see any little flaw in this hair once you smooth out all this curl. So that'll really be a big thing that I'll do once I finish drying it is just tweaking it and cutting that and doing a little more finishing on it dry. Now I've got a little hair to pick up there. But just taking this off already, you can see how nice and flat it lays. She won't have to deal with this. This will just kind of do itself. The only thing I'll have to mess with, Caitlin, is the top, and that'll be easy. Because even, you know, once you flat iron this, it'll stay good for a couple of days. You won't have to mess with it. Because the flat ironing does take a toll on it over a period of time. You couldn't do it day in and day out. It's just hard on it. And going on around right here, taking that off. Now, we've got all that hair off the sides gone already. Look at that great little face. Now, we know this is kind of a natural fall to this side, and that's what we want to find. Caitlin, I like it the further over the better. I mean, I don't like that deep part, but you see we have a little wisp or something hanging over, so I am going to razor that off just a little bit, but it'll make the rest of this hair look super long. And that's what makes this haircut look very dramatic. Once I get this little edge taken care of, I'm going to smooth it out with my flat iron, and then we're going to check out and do a little more tweaking. Now, I've got this combed in that natural fall, how this hair would fall. And this is the part that was cut super short on the underneath, but you know what happens. Once I flat iron that, it's going to look longer. And I almost think that some of this color in here will almost make her hair relax, the curl slightly, and it will behave better. I'm picking this up and taking this off so we don't have any blunt little edges here. You can see how the hair curls up. She had a little bit of a relaxer still left on those ends, but we can flat iron this so easy, Caitlin. It'll be really good with the flat iron. I'm just lifting this out, and I feel this little overhang here that's just too long. I'm taking it off with the razor. And you can see as I get to the back of her head, after taking this in close, it gives her head a better shape. Now, you can see when I comb this down, I got a little hair here hanging over. So, combing it in that natural fall and kind of converging that, and then taking it off. This haircut, it's like when you're growing it out, you don't want to cut every strand of hair on the head. Sometimes you just need it here and there just to change the shape so it doesn't look like it's growing out. So she could easily continue to let her hair grow. Even from this shape, you could continue to trim the underneath, let it pass the ears, and let the top come down, and it would be easy to grow into a little bob. See just where I took that off? You can see now that little bit of that weight line that was so obvious is going to be a little more subtle now. Now, right now, I'm going to dry it. It's a point where I want to dry this and check it. No more cutting on here. So when you come back, you'll see her dried and my flat ironing. We're back here with Caitlin, and look at this nice change on her. We've got lots of texture in here now, and you can really see the color of her hair, how it really shows up now. Let me twirl her around just so you can see the area that I took in really dark and a little closer on the neck has really got more shape to it now. And actually, where I cut it shorter in the crown, now it's got all this great texture where it stands up, and having that contrast in the color just plays up the haircut. We love this little asymmetric shape. It just really likes this shape. So what I'm going to do now is go and do a little more tweaking. What I didn't touch were these bangs and this side here, her longer side. But what I want to do is take the crown and make the crown slightly shorter just because I want the front to look longer. In order for the front to look longer, I'm going to make this shorter. That way it's really will kind of swing forward and just have that length show up more in the front. You can see I'm taking and I'm just point cutting these ends. That way it makes it jagged and it's not blunt. Just working my way towards the crown. I'm pulling that section back. Oops, there we go. And taking that off. That way it makes it shorter in the crown and it leaves the length that falls there to the side. What I didn't like, Caitlin, is just where you could see it was just a little choppy and a little uneven just from being very blunt cut. So I'm lifting up and checking. I didn't cut any of this when it was wet. So I flat ironed it, dried it, flat ironed it, and then I'm checking it dry. And then you really see where that hair needs to come off. We like this disconnected. I've got this super short to this side, and then that hair falls long to the long side. But what this needed was a little more lightening up just so these ends weren't so blunt and heavy. Now what I want to do a little bit of is a little more texturizing just with these 7-tooth notchers. The 7-tooth notchers you see will really make these ends nice and ragged. Her bangs were cut so blunt straight across, and we want the opposite. We want these ends to look very fringy and loose. No blunt edges. You see any little flaw or thick spot in this blonde hair, so much easier to do when this hair, oh, see, that gave it more movement and it just made it piecier. It took that thick spot out. This is her long side. We don't want this to look too thick and blunt, so I'm going right through the top. It's taking the interior out and not her length. Now look how much more movement and blended that is. Really has much better flow when you see this longer side. And let's turn her, and you can see this side. Caitlin's so cute on you. I've taken that underneath, short on the underneath, and left this long on top. Now she's got a haircut that makes sense. It's got, it just has a nice shape to it now, and you don't look like you're growing out. What I'm going to do now is finish it with a little pomade, and our Max Wax is wonderful for this. The Max Wax gives separation and definition, so it'll really make this piecey, play up this haircut without having a stiff hold or a sprayed feel to it. See, what's nice is it's a little wax and it's not heavy. All you need is a little dab of it. I put it in the palm of my hand. I'm going to let you have this one because you're going to need this. Put it in the palm of your hand, and I just rub it where you have a film of it on your fingers and on your palms, and then you see I'm rubbing it on here. When you rub this in, it just makes this hair separate and makes all this texture show up. We want lots of piecey, ragged ends, and now Caitlin's hair has a purpose. She's got a nice shape now that has a really defined shape to it. After going in and taking off the sides, let me twirl you around one more time, you can see what a great little shape on this cute little head. I've got it where it's spiky, where it wants to stand up in the top, and you see that neckline is nice and close. Let this come down, let this hair be messy. The more texture, the better. Then it doesn't look old-fashioned. It looks very modern and new, and she can continue to let this hair grow. Love how the bangs look. You look very cute, Caitlin. Let me put a little more dab. You can't really put too much of this on your hair. That likes it. Oh, this one here. One more little dab. I've got everywhere, but see, I wanted a little bit more on this top. Rubbing that in so it really gets on the ends. You want it on the, oh, that's what it needed. Now you see all that texture in there. Caitlin, you look great, sweetie. I'm so glad you came in, and I really enjoyed using you for a model today, and you'll have to come back and see me. Looky here where we can play with these bangs now. So very cute. Alrighty, thanks for watching today. Great, very cute. How do you turn it off?
Right there.